We had a great outcome. The call was about a 60-year-old gentleman that had a really severe injury to his left upper arm from a chainsaw that was bleeding very heavily, a lot of muscle damage, etc. That had originally presented at an outlying hospital. His hemorrhaging was not very well controlled there, despite pretty heavy packing and pretty aggressive sort of standard care in the emergency department. It was high enough on his arm that it wasn't really an appropriate spot to place a tourniquet. So when they called us to transfer the patient to the trauma center, and when we arrived and assessed that situation, saw what was going on, we thought this was a perfect opportunity to use the device. So we placed 2 of the devices on the patient, had great control of the pretty significant hemorrhage within minutes, and transferred the patient on into the hospital with no further bleeding. He was evaluated at the trauma center, went to the OR, got his wound cleaned up, and ultimately did well, was discharged home in a relatively short period of time.
You know, I've been saying that if anything positive comes out of the wars these past few years, it's going to be the innovations in trauma care that have learned from the battlefield. Well, one of the great things that we're going to talk about today is the iTClamp hemorrhage control system, and it's by Innovative Trauma Care, and this was actually developed from the battlefield by Dennis Phillips. He was actually a trauma surgeon who had a couple tours over there, and one of the things that he recognized was the fact that bleeding was hard to control, and if someone didn't come up with something, we were going to lose a lot of soldiers. Now, as I did my research for the iTClamp, one of the things I noticed is that people were saying that it kind of looks like a potato chip clip, or it kind of looks like a hair clip. Well, I got to tell you, it's a lot more ingenious than that. And when we think about helping those patients that are bleeding on scene, this is really going to increase their chances of survival. Let's think about some of those challenges we have on scene with severe bleeding. You know, we're taught direct pressure, elevation, use a tourniquet. But we can't use a tourniquet everywhere. Think about the groin. We've all seen those femoral bleeds, and it's very, very severe. And if we don't control that bleeding quickly, the chances of survival of that patient are very grim. Let's go ahead and look at some of the components of the iTClamp. First off, it's very, very lightweight. It weighs less than an ounce, and it only measures 2 inches by 2 inches. You know, this is a very ingenious and simple product to use. It's a self-locking clamp. What it does is it forms a stable clot until it can be surgically repaired. What's really great about this product is it can be used both with venous and arterial bleeds. This is very, very easy to use, and you could put it in place in less than 3 seconds. You could use one hand that will allow you to close the wound, and now you have an airtight and fluid-tight seal. You know, our goal should be to save every drop of blood that we can when we're on scene. But that's not what we're taught. We're taught direct pressure. We're taught elevation. And if the bandage gets blood soaked, just keep adding another bandage on top of it. Are we really controlling the bleeding, or are we just trying to stop the flow? What we really need to do is we need to control that bleeding at the site. You know, being the host of the Innovation Zone is I really get to show you some innovative products, and this one didn't disappoint. You know, the iTClamp is so easy to use, we should place it on all our first responder vehicles as well as with our police partners for more rapid application. The iTClamp, it's simple to use, it's lightweight, and it saves lives. I'm Chris Cebollero, and thank you for joining us on the Innovation Zone.